I'd love to start this off with a story. Not my story, but the story of Ronald Evans, one of my favorite stories. A couple years ago at one of our Christmas parties for Wilderness Works, we asked some of our past participants to stand up and talk about how Wilderness Works impacted them. And Ronald Evans stood up, and this is how he told his story. I'm a married man to the mother of my 3 children. I run my own personal training company. I own my own house, and this is a far cry from where I grew up, in one of the worst neighborhoods here in Atlanta, where I didn't even know if I had a future. And one day, a Wilderness Works bus showed up, took me to Camp Evergreen up near Lake Burton, and I walked out at night, and I looked up and I saw it full of stars. And I thought, man, there's more out there. I can do anything, and I can be anything. At Wilderness Works, we were founded in 1997, so we've been around for a while. We were founded on the belief that nature is the best educator, and as a society, we are distancing ourselves from nature. And so we thought we would help one of the needy populations in Atlanta, the homeless and at-risk kids in elementary school. So that's the population we try to serve. Wilderness Works measures our success in smiles. I'm John Jarrett, and this kind of stuff makes me smile. We believe that every child should have a safe space to play. We believe that every child should have adventure. We believe that every child should have a place to be themselves. And we believe that every person should have nature at its wildest, should experience nature at its wildest. This time, these kids were out climbing the face of this waterfall, and so being a kid myself, I followed them up to get this picture, which they ran into a yellow jacket nest and experienced some of that wild nature we're talking about. But nobody was allergic, so it was actually a really good experience, and they got to learn how to find a yellow jacket nest. But it could have gone really bad. We were founded on these organizational goals, and we see it as we see ourselves as a youth development agency because our idea is to impact you young. Because we believe if we get you young, we can change the trajectory of your life. We partner with all of the local shelters in and around Atlanta. If you're within 2 or 3 miles, we drive to you, or we ask you to bus your kids into us. We work with all the local neighborhoods that are near us where we can actually see the enrichment and impact that we have. And the way we get the kids is we present at the schools, and we talk in front of the schools, and the teachers are often how they point us out to the kids with the most need. And then we go find their parents, or we go door to door and knock until we can find them. One of the really cool things as you grow up through our program is we don't just work with elementary age kids. As you get older, you can come back as a counselor and a helper. And then you get to do stuff like this where these kids plan this whole trip to Pisgah National Forest, to Shining Rock. And they sat around a table and talked about what they were going to pack in, what they were going to eat, where they were going to sleep. And all we did was sort of let them do this. And it was cool to see the self-reliance and confidence they got from having that responsibility and not having like older people just lead them. So then they do that stuff all the time. What sets us apart from a lot of organizations like this is we're not just a summer camp, see you in the summer, and then we don't see you till next summer. We are year-round. We have year-round programming, even during the school year. So we have what we call city camp, where the kids will come and spend the night. So we have 50 kids will spend the night on the weekend. It's at least once a weekend, one weekend a month. And a lot of that is because a lot of our kids are food insecure, and this way we can feed them and take care of them for at least one night. And then we have mini camp, which is gender-based, and that's at least one weekend a month. And that's where boys and girls will go on like separate hikes or separate camping and stuff. And experiential field trips is during the holidays, because most of them are just stuck in their neighborhoods during the holidays, and we can at least get you outside and camping or hiking or whatever it is. This is a cool mini camp where we taught them, they were about to go camping, so we taught them tent setup. It's at my dad's farm down in South Georgia. What I love about this trip is I planned like a whole day's worth of activities of like hour by hour what we were going to do, and we spent 2.5 hours knocking logs over and seeing what bugs were there. But that was much better than all of the activities that I had planned. Our opportunities, we face a lot of opportunities as an organization. Even though we're an older organization, we still have a lot of the same problems that a brand new nonprofit would. We like to see our problems as opportunities for growth and change. God, I got lost in this. I'm not a great speaker with these things. Anyway, so one of our reasons we face these opportunities is we were founded by one person until February of 2015. It was the only person on staff. So it's one guy's passion and leadership making this whole happen for this long. I came on board in February 2015 along with Alicia, our program director, and we still have to fundraise our own salaries. With one staff member, then a lot of things sort of crop up. You can only do so much as one person. And even with a staff of 3, there's still a lot of stuff that happens. We see our main opportunities as right now we have a very weak and ineffective board. We have, which is very important, a lack of comprehensive fundraising strategy, no current program evaluation, and our current location is in the Memorial Corridor. With a board is, as you guys probably know, it's very intrinsic to the health of a nonprofit organization. We currently only have 4 members. We would like 10 to 12, and 2 are totally brand new. We really need an involved board and a passionate board, not a board that we have to push along or try to lead in any way. So we need an effective strategy for forming growth, motivation, and engagement of that board. As every nonprofit here probably talks about fundraising, it's the biggest struggle we have. And strangely, our most effective plan right now is direct mail, which is really weird. Our director has built up this big database of people he just sends letters to, and they send checks back. So it's working as of now. Then we present in front of churches, and when I came on board, we just started doing events such as silent auctions and Christmas parties to raise money. So we need to modernize, improve, make a grant writing idea. We basically need a comprehensive development plan that can help us achieve our goals. In camping, evaluation is very important, just to help you with knowing if you're doing the right programming for your participants, to know if you have the right outcomes, to know if all that stuff. Yeah, we have no current strategy. It would be great if we could have, say, hey, 80% of our participants graduate high school, that kind of stuff, but we don't have a way to measure that. So implementing a strong evaluation strategy could really help us in programming and our organizational goals. We have this really cool facility on Memorial Drive, and it looks like an old abandoned church when you drive past it. I actually thought it was abandoned until I knocked on the door and asked if they needed help. But it has a sanctuary. It has dorms for 25 boys and 25 girls to spend the night at a time. We have showers, meeting rooms, dining room, playrooms, and a library. But it was built in 1905. So there's a lot of structural issues that go with that. And we don't own it. We're leasing it from the church that owns it. And it's not in a long-term lease, so long-term strategic planning is often rough. And so questions abound with that. Like, do we start a capital campaign for raising money for a new building to buy this one? How do you start a capital campaign? Gentrification is something that we face. Because we were built to serve the neighborhood of Cabbagetown, where we're based out of, and now we serve 0 children from Cabbagetown. We are close to other neighborhoods that do need what we provide, but should we move to locations that have more of the children that we serve, or should we continue to bus in people? Basically, a strategy plan for that would be amazing. This is Bill Mickler, our founder. He's unable to be here. But he's there with 2 of our amazing campers that got a bunch of awards at elementary school. We're very proud of them. And I'm going to end this with a story that wasn't like 20 years ago. This is actually this spring. This is the story of William, the kid on the right in that red shirt. He comes from a very impoverished background. He's the guy who shows up with the same pair of clothes on when we pick him up for camp. He shows up with a shoe and a pair of underwear for 5 days of camp. So that kind of stuff that is not there, and he has this crazy energy. He just wants attention. So negative or positive, it doesn't matter. He's just going crazy. So at all of our events, I staff a single volunteer just to be with him, just so we can keep him marginally out of trouble. And this event, we went hiking on Arabia Mountain. It was his first hike with us because he's 9 and he just joined us. And the whole time, he held my hand like that. And we walked everywhere, and all he wanted to do was ask, like, what's that? What tree is that? What bug is that? I don't know these things, but I'm just like, I love that he's excited about it, and that the nature impact on him it like calmed him down and made him excited about the world around him. And then his behavior improved so drastically, which is still not great. But because he was so excited about being a part of our program and coming back, because only charge we have is good attitude and good behavior, and we often don't charge those. So in that, he's getting so much better just because he wants to be a part of what we do, and it was so cool to see that impact. And so if we can fix some of these or capitalize these opportunities or work better in this, we could have a lot more stories like William and Ronald. And thank y'all for letting me be here.